evening. My name is Miss Joan Sitting Bull. I'm the founder, CEO, and a woman of many hats. International Chrysalis Art and Music Education Incorporated, INCAMEI, is an organization that cares about our future generations, the balance of life and nature, and the commonality of all existence. We have come together today, as you have seen, three of my wise men that have spoke knowledge of real life, where they have been, what they have done, and shared knowledge to help a survival situation to our future education of the youth in today's society. We have presented 2 events to our veterans, families, and youth. And we have brought them together in one place and made a difference. Our future generations demand that we tell them the truth and that we give them the knowledge on how to survive. And the 3 wise men that you saw today gave us some knowledge. Today, we are going to do one more thing, and we are going to let Mr. Tito tell us why he uses the diaphragm to call the turkey and the elk, and how he does it. And coming up December 8th, 2018, historically speaking, INCAMEI will be in Las Lunas, New Mexico at Catherine Gallegos Elementary School, presenting helicopter, Mr. and Mrs. Santa coming in on a fire truck, Stony Stone, Mark Cody, Tito Rodriguez. We have 100 Christmas presents that we are going to give away to the youth. We also have our very first annual art contest, pre-K to 6th grade, and cash prizes to 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. We have retired Brigadier General Jack R. Fox, Secretary of State, Veterans Affairs of New Mexico, honoring us with his presence of his knowledge. Historically speaking, we are presenting the knowledge and the history of Las Lunas, New Mexico from 1716 to the present. Our future generations will have the opportunity to draw and exhibit from that era and win those cash prizes and learn about where they live, what it was like before they lived, and how it is the way it is today. At this moment, I want to thank Stony Stone, Mark Cody, for sharing with us, and we are going to pick the brain of Tito Rodriguez, because he will be there December 8th in Las Lunas, New Mexico, to teach our future generations about the elk and turkey calls.
Yes, as you go into a sports store and you go through the aisles looking for turkey calls, elk calls, you will see many various types of handheld calls, diaphragms, bugles. But in my experience, hunting an animal is, if I have a handheld call, I find that if the animal approaches you and he sees you move, then the animal will get away from you. My experience is, if I have a diaphragm, my hands are free, and I have my hands on the weapon, and I can harvest that animal successfully without him knowing that I was there. Therefore, my choice of calls is the diaphragm. Like I said, there's many calls out there available, but my preference is the diaphragm.
And what is the diaphragm?
It's a little plastic reed, and it's latex, and it goes in your mouth, and you make the various sounds of the different animals that you're trying to harvest.
And why do you use the diaphragm?
I use it for convenience, and also if an animal is approaching, then I just quit calling, and my hands is on the firearm or bow, and then I have a much better chance of harvesting that animal before he sees me, make any movement to put down my handheld call, and my hands are free, and then I'll try to harvest the animal.
And why do they respond to the sound of turkey or elk?
Well, like the elk and the turkey, usually when you call, you're usually during the mating season where they're attracted to the female, so you make the calls and the sounds of a female turkey, a hen, or a cow elk, and you try to emulate the various sounds of the animal, like the estrus call of a cow and the estrus call of a turkey, and therefore bringing the animal towards you.
And when you bring them toward you, they must think that they are being called by another of their kind?
Yes, that's true. Basically, the female species of that animal or turkey.
And how do you know how to call the male and the female separately?
Well, I don't usually try to call the males because a male won't come to a male call; he'll come to a hen call. And same way with a bull elk. If you do a herd bull call, if that elk is not a mature bull elk, then you'll scare the lesser elk away, thus lessening your chance of harvesting an animal.
So when you are calling the herd or the elk, the male, the bull elk, you are making the female sound.
That's correct.
Calling them in.
That's correct.
Interesting. And how long did it take you to learn how to do that?
It took me about a month and a half. There's a lot of ups and downs. I put the call down and I picked it back up. Started making some type of weird noise until I finally got it down. And, you know, that was when I was about 18, 19 years old. Now I'm going on 67 years old and I'm still hunting with a lot of success with the diaphragm.
And when you're out with the diaphragm and you're hunting for elk or turkey, what kind of environment are you looking for?
Well, I'm looking for the food plots, the trails that cross, and turkeys. They have a home range of 2 miles from where they're born, so anywhere in that vicinity, if he can hear you, he'll come in. He'll come into your call.
Interesting. And do you go out days ahead of time and scout out the territory?
Yes, I do. I go about 2 or 3 days ahead of the hunt, and I set up and I watch with my binoculars, see where the elk are moving, and I also right at dusk, I make the call of a turkey, and they'll respond to your call. They'll start gobbling, so you just make your plans to go in that direction in the morning to go hunt them.
And how early in the morning do you get started?
I start about 4 o'clock in the morning and I go up there and set up. But before that, like I said, I'm there 2 or 3 days in advance, and I make blinds so I can hide behind them. And the elk, I usually just kind of walk, call, listen, and once I get a response, then I'll sit down and try to lure the elk toward me.
And what do you make blinds out of?
Just whatever in the area. Branches, leaves, anything that's there, they can cover you. And for my scent, I know sometimes they can smell you, so I just take what's available. I get a plastic bag, throw my clothes in there, and I put the pine needles in there. That's prevalent in the area. So my clothes will smell like pine instead of a human odor. Or if I see mud, you can put mud on your clothes, and you have that musky mud odor. Something to mask your odor.
And when you're out in the forest, would you say that it would be important to not add any extra scents, perfumes, cigarettes?
No, I don't use
chemical
perfumes. I don't use nothing. I use whatever out there, whatever they're used to smelling. Pine needles, mud. Sometimes, if you're lucky enough, during the elk season, you might find a elk bed that they have urinated on, and you roll in it. So now you have the musky odor of the elk. So that's what they're gonna smell.
And when you are out there hunting, I take it that you have to have a license to be able to do this?
Yes, you do. You have, in Arizona, you have to get picked to hunt that particular animal. It's a draw. Sometimes you get picked, and sometimes you don't.
And what do you like to hunt the most?
Well, the most challenging one is turkey.
Turkeys.
Turkey, and the second one is the elk. Because I love the challenge of them calling, and me calling, they respond, and they come in. And I've had elk 10, 15 yards from me. And that's how you get to be successful. You call them in, they don't see you. Another thing is your camouflage clothing, and you limit your movements.
So the more you move, the less chance you have of catching them.
Right, because turkey can actually see color, and they can see movement up to a quarter mile away.
That's interesting.
And elk can hear real good, and a lot of people try to sneak up on an elk, but I've noticed that if you just walk normal, like you stomp your feet, it's gonna sound like another elk going through the woods. So I try to act like they act. You get to know the animal you're hunting, and you put your brain against them, and it's just a big challenge.
I love it. And do we have any other questions from the audience?
Do you have $10 I can borrow?
I was gonna give you 15, but if you want 10, I'll give you.
Thank you, I'll take it. Thank you very much.
As you can see, we have quite a group here, and I'm very honored to have them with me. Stoney has been there from the very beginning. Mark has too, but he's been on the sideline. Tito just came aboard, and we have many others that we are going to be speaking about, and that's going to be a part of what we're doing. If you have any questions for us, www.internationalchrysalis.org. We are INCAMEI, and you'll be able to find us. Until next time, Ishka. Our phone number, 727-230-0667. Ishka.